Good afternoon. You're watching the YouTube channel for Salisbury Cathedral. My name's Canon Nigel Davies, the Vicar of the Close. It's been a fair while since I've been doing one of these reflections, partly because I've not been rotated, but the other reason was that the last time I was supposed to be reflecting, the software didn't work. There'd been an upgrade, and for the life of me, I couldn't get on. So there was a lot of silent air and no sight of me, which for some might have been a blessing. It's given me a bit of time to think about what I was going to say. I had planned various things, and then the world events and other things have overtaken me. I was going to reflect upon how, with COVID receding, life was beginning to return to normal. But more importantly, those inequalities, those problems that we saw during COVID were slowly receding into our memories. A veil was being drawn across them, and we were beginning, it seemed, to forget them. So the people who were being paid poorly, people who were being housed poorly, the astronomical amount that people have to pay for rents, a whole range of inequalities were largely receding into the distance. And then, of course, we were shocked by the attack on Ukraine and continued war there with Russia. I don't know about you, but when that happened, obviously everybody became extremely anxious, as did I. And it made normal life seem rather strange. Every time you went out, you could imagine how it might be if in Salisbury there was an attack, rockets were falling, houses were being destroyed. It made normal life seem rather empty, and it made doing the simplest things, the fun things that we like to do, seem irrelevant. How could we be going out and enjoying the sunshine? How could we go out for a walk or go to the pub or do those normal things that we like to do when people in Ukraine were having to flee their homes, they were being killed? It made everyday life seem rather shadowy and difficult to come to terms with. But again, sadly, although it continues on, the news headlines seem to be paying less attention to the people in Ukraine and their problems. And as problems with the economy, problems with inflation, problems such as those hit home in this country, our news headlines shift and the news about Ukraine moves slightly down the list of important items on the nightly news, and we are asked, our commentators ask, what is going to be done? What can the government do? So often we want some great leader to come and solve all our problems, but powerful leaders such as Putin don't usually bring the right solutions. And certainly in Ukraine, his desire for power has meant that millions are suffering and thousands have died. So strong leadership can often be wrong leadership. It's always seemed to me that when decisions are being made, if you're acting as a leader, it's always best to involve all the people in the organization. I've always thought it's best to come to consensus. I know that lots of people think that that isn't the best way, and it means that it takes longer to make decisions, and perhaps sometimes compromises have to be made, and the best decision isn't always made. But it has to be said that not everybody, not every religion, not every political party, not every dogma, not every way of doing things has the right answers. We all have a little bit of the puzzle, a piece of the puzzle to put together and make things into the whole picture. So to do things in one particular way or that particular way doesn't mean we can solve all our problems, but putting our heads together and having a consensus can often do that. Religion is often accused of causing division, but I've got a lovely story to end my reflection with this afternoon. It's a story showing that when people do cooperate, when people work together to support each other, then life can be very different. And the story is called Three Sabbaths because it's about a Christian, a Jew, and a Muslim, all of who keep Sabbaths, but on different days. and the story was written by someone called William White. So here we go. In a small village, 3 friends, a Muslim, a Jew, and a Christian, farmed on adjoining land. The Muslim observed Friday as the Sabbath, the Jew observed Saturday as the Sabbath, and the Christian observed Sunday as the Sabbath. One autumn Friday around noon, the Jew and the Christian finished ploughing their fields. As he sat eating his lunch, the Christian noticed that the field of his Muslim friend was not yet ploughed. If he does not plough it today, it may rain tomorrow, and he will not be able to complete his planting. I could plough a bit of his field and thus make his work easier. And he did. In an adjoining field, the Jewish companion came upon an identical plan. Without consulting each other, the 2 men completed the neighbour's ploughing. The next day, when the Muslim discovered that his field had been ploughed, he rejoiced, saying, "Surely God has sent his angels to plough my field while I observe the day of rest." Months later, when harvest season arrived, the fields of the 3 friends flourished. One Sunday, the Jew and the Muslim were harvesting their crop, while their Christian brother celebrated the Sabbath. As he completed harvesting his crops, the Jew noticed that the field of his Christian friend was ready to harvest. If he does not harvest today, he could lose a part of his crop, he thought. I will pick his corn until it becomes dark. And he did. Completely unknown to him, his Muslim brother came to the same conclusion. Between them, they harvested their friend's entire crop. On Monday, when the Christian came out to the field, he discovered that his entire crop had been harvested. It's a miracle, he thought. While I rested, God's angel harvested. During threshing season, the Muslim and the Christian were working on a Saturday, while their Jewish friends stayed at home, keeping the Sabbath holy. As he finished threshing his grain, the Muslim looked to the next field and thought, if my Jewish neighbor does not gather his grain today, the rain might wash it away and he will lose his crop. I will thresh part of his crop this afternoon. And he did. Unknown to him, his Christian friend decided upon the same course of action. Separately, the 2 men threshed, bound, and covered the entire crop. When his Sabbath was over, the Jewish farmer discovered that his grain was threshed. Lifting his eyes to heaven, he prayed, "Blessed are you, Lord of the universe, for sending your angels while I was keeping my Sabbath." So that ends my reflection for this afternoon. I hope you have a very good evening, morning, or whatever it is where you're watching now. Bye-bye.